All right, so Rolly, why don't you tell us a little bit about Se-Kure?
Okay, we're a major manufacturer of the mirrors that go in intersections, blind spots.
Hmm.
Everybody needs a mirror, uses mirrors.
Yes,
Not like a
absolutely.
sales guy, but it's they're in every facility in the country, and sometimes they're not, and that's what we're here for. So.
Yes, yes, and I think definitely an important tool within the warehouse itself, right? And tell us a little bit about, because maybe you said some warehouses don't have them yet,
Right.
right? But tell us a little bit about why is the mirror such a critical kind of safety tool within a warehouse?
Well, it's a lot of the techniques now are to use the projectors down at the floor, which are good. It alerts that's where the intersection is.
Sure.
Beware. Uh, the mirrors are an immediate visual of the approaching traffic from both angles.
Right.
So it's something that it's kind of a take it for granted thing. It's always been a sort of a neglected product at times because it's like a unnecessary evil
Yes.
to management because there's no OSHA regulations that you have to have a mirror in a certain location.
OSHA's our neighbor over here. We should talk to them about that.
Well, actually, they put out a NEP, a National Emphasis Program, where they're going to start going into the warehousing and looking to see. It's mainly aimed right now at retail.
Yeah.
And so the retail distribution centers, and because there's a lot of high traffic and they seem to have more accidents in there. And I've been in a lot of retail warehouses, and no mirrors at all.
Yeah.
And then they have a bad accident, and then all of a sudden I'm popular, and I got to drive out to the East Coast and do a mirror survey and set them up. So,
Yeah.
But it's once they're in place, that's a benefit for both the safety part of it, to kind of keep OSHA content, and for the employees to feel comfortable approaching an intersection. And when the insurance companies come in to do their audits, when they have to go like this, they're saying, well, I can't see what's coming.
Yeah.
But if there's a mirror right there,
Oh, you can see what's coming. Yeah.
yeah, so if the companies are proactive, then that because it actually gives them a chance to, maybe start it and do it in increments instead of outfitting the whole warehouse. They'll find out that they did a third of the warehouse, and people are actually participating in it. Where sometimes the mirrors are up high and they get ignored. We'll throw maybe a red and white or a yellow and black safety board around to kind of put that color up into the ceiling, because being 15 feet in the air so that forklifts don't hit them, you have to consider that it's reflecting a dark area up there. So the mirror goes from bright silver to bright gray.
Yeah.
So it's easy to ignore that up in the ceiling like that. So.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think it's so important too. I mean, as you said in your example, right? No mirrors, right? And then all of a sudden there's an accident, and now they realize they need them, right? So, I mean, tell us a little bit about the idea of being proactive versus reactive when it comes to the warehouse environment.
Okay, one of the particular circumstances was a major player in the warehousing. They had an accident, and a couple drivers came around a corner. One fell off his forklift. Boom! They had to have a leg amputated.
Oh wow, that's not good.
The cost of that lawsuit would outfit 15 other distribution centers with mirrors, cheaper than that lawsuit.
Yeah.
So, and money talks eventually, and that company was proactive and said, "Come on in. I want you to go to the East Coast. Do this distribution center." And I've been all around the country doing these surveys, and that way I can see the different circumstances. So
interesting, and I mean, I think it is such a testament, because sometimes I think that safety is it's like invisible until something happens, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right, and actually, by having a little safety in place, makes people work a little bit more fluid.
Yeah.
Instead of coming to a complete stop, beeping horns,
Yeah.
which I'm not against,
Yeah.
but yet, when you've got verification, it's clear sailing, you roll and everything's fine.
Yeah.
Keeps everything, like I say, more fluid.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's kind of, I guess it's similar to almost where you have a yield sign, right? It's like you're slowing down, but nobody's coming, so you're just going to go, right? And I think you have that visibility and you create that, right? It's interesting. It's interesting because, you see so many software solutions out here that are talking about visibility, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the physical visibility is also an essential and key part of the warehouse, too. So you mentioned that you go out and you do these surveys. So tell us a little bit about that process and how that works.
Well, since I'm one person that does it, basically what I'll try to do is connect with one of our distributors, and they have an issue with a certain plant or warehouse.
Yeah.
I'll go out and basically I'm the teacher.
Okay.
So the distributor, they might take my notes for me. And by the end of that survey, after going through all the different types of intersections, the distributor generally can say, oh, you're going to use a 36-inch dome here or a 32-inch dome vex in this corner,
Yeah.
And because and they're learning now, they can go into any facility they're going into and pretty much cover 80-90% of any circumstance that comes at them. So they don't have to call me to New York or down to Tennessee or whatever. So
Yeah.
but and it makes it easier for them to see opportunities, and that's money, and that's what it's about.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that makes so much sense, and it's great to be able to visualize and see those different types of things because I think if someone was to just go and maybe try and guess where's the right place for the mirrors, they might not have that experience, and you're definitely bringing that experience to the table. So I'm curious too. I saw that you guys have some kind of exclusive patents on certain ways of creating these mirrors and these domes. So tell us a little bit about that and how that kind of differentiates you in the market.
Okay, we are a true manufacturer so most of the other mirror companies in the United States, they buy mirrors from either overseas or people that just make boxes of mirrors and they'll assemble them. Whereas we will buy pallets of raw acrylic, cut it to size, form it, mirrorize it, cut it, put a back, put a top, whatever hardware goes with it, through the whole system. And even our parent company makes our hardware for us. So we're not waiting for the boat to come from overseas.
Right.
We're not, like say if somebody says, I've got a warehouse and I need 80 big domes, we don't have to go to our supplier and say, how soon can we get them? I could say, can you get it into the forming schedule for later this week?
Yeah.
And we can alter our own schedules. And that way we can service the industry better. So. And we found that a lot of the material handling companies are larger volumes, so we can service better than what they have been in the past by other companies.
Interesting. Yeah. I think that's a great thing to have and to be able to have that as well. I mean, it's a great overall service that you're providing, not only on that aspect that we just talked about from the speed of manufacturing and assembly and putting that together, but also from the fact that you're going in there and you're giving them that survey and letting them know what's going to be the most effective there. And I think, do you have something with us here? You want to show?
Brought a couple props here. This is a situation where you, with all racking, like say you have 50 rows of racking, and you put a dome at the end of each end of the rack aisle.
Yeah.
But some people have cross aisles that if they're available, if they're open from floor to ceiling, you can hang a dome at that intersection.
Right.
But this is a tunnel.
Right.
And the tunnel creates a problem where you can't hang a dome because you have to get to the upper areas to get your goods out of the shelf.
Right, over that kind of
hit it. So
bridge a little bit.
Yeah. So we'll mount this dome vex mirror, which is our patented product.
Yeah.
It gives a full 180-degree view, which is not to be confused with a convex mirror, because that'll give you 150 degrees roughly. of
Oh,
a viewing
interesting. Okay.
angle.
Okay.
So this, you can see directly to the right and left, a true 180 degree.
Yeah.
So this is mounted up on the inside of the rack upright.
Okay.
And so if you're coming out one aisle, you can look at the mirror and you can see the
Oh, you
aisle
can see
next to you.
the other aisle. Oh, yeah, I see the visualization here. Yeah, very interesting.
So,
yeah.
so that way they're not running into each other. And even coming out, you can look into that mirror and see the length of that cross aisle. So that way you can see pedestrians. And usually, if a pedestrian's going to be in a warehouse walking around, it'll be on the shortcut. And that's the shortcut. They don't want to go to the end of the aisle and walk around.
That's true.
It's easier to go through, So, and the horn doesn't always serve the purpose, So.
Yeah, definitely.
And the Domevex mirror, the difference is like this would be a convex mirror.
Okay.
That gives you a nice clean view of a little bit to each side.
Right.
Where the Domevex will actually let you see.
Yeah, I see. It's much wider visualization. Yeah. So it's almost like a fisheye lens on a camera or something. Yeah. Interesting. All right, very interesting stuff, and yeah, I mean, I think it's very important, to be able to highlight these types of things from a safety perspective, and the more you can visualize, and I think the more as our warehouses get busier and busier, and I think a tunnel within a warehouse is becoming is certainly a common thing, right? Especially as we try to maximize that space above. It's great to be able to see you taking so much pride and putting that into being able to create that visibility overall and increase the safety awareness and just making things safer for us in the warehouse.
Yeah, the Domevex was actually created for an industrial application where the whole building was overhead cranes, and you can't hang the domes from the ceiling because the cranes are moving. And the convex mirror only give you like a 150, 160 degree angle, so they couldn't see people. And I actually had that formed up to instead of being like 2 inches deep, I had it 7 inches deep. So that gave the curvature, and then they could see pedestrians walking around. And that was their solution, and made it where they could actually put mirrors in their facility. So, and there's applications that come up. Retail, warehousing, outdoors. We've modified the back so that it's weatherproof for outdoors.
Oh, nice.
And extra bracketry. Our outdoor mirrors, we have the strongest mirror in the industry because we offer a 3-bracket system with 120 degree spacing. So when the mirror's out in the wind, it's not flexing and actually breaking down the hardware or the mirror. Whereas the 3-bracket creates more like a tripod effect, which can't favor any direction. So makes the mirrors last quite a bit longer.
Interesting. Yeah, and I think it's very smart and very good approach to the mirrors and being able to create that additional visibility as we talked about here today. So Rolly, I really appreciate you coming by and showing us some of the mirrors and telling us a little bit about the safety aspect as well. So if people are interested to get in touch or learn more about Se-Kure and the domes and mirrors that you have, what's the best way to do that?
Just domesandmirrors.com, and
I like that domain.
They could drop me a line, and if you go to About, there'll be my smiling face there with my email address for questions. I'm the product guy, so and I'm new at the sales aspect of it, but I've ran 3 different mirror companies, so I for the
mirrors.
I've been there,
All right, good. All right, it was a pleasure to have you come by the booth and talk to you here, and definitely check out Se-Kure at domesandmirrors.com. So Rolly, thank you very much for your time today.
Appreciate it, Kevin.
All right, thank you. Hey guys, thank you so much for tuning into today's video here on our YouTube channel, the New Warehouse Podcast, and I appreciate you tuning in. If you liked what you saw, make sure you subscribe to our channel, and if you like this video in particular, make sure you like it as well. And if you want to get this great t-shirt that you see in the video behind me, Warehouses Are Sexy, head to warehousesAreSexy.com and get your own.